Family, thank you for being part of us. I'm very grateful to have you here. So, today we are in Niger. We are still rotating under the Sahel, the AES states, because every day there are some good news from the Sahel. So, we are very grateful that today we are also in Niger. France is trying to come back in Niger, but now in a new way. Let's be clear. France is begging Niger to come back Niger to cooperate economically, militarily, and everything. But in a new approach, France no longer wants to use power or like the way it was before in the Sahel. Now it is begging Niger to cooperate with Niger in a very good and diplomatic way, not like before. So let's first see this report. We are going to come back and comment on it.
Something happened in West Africa that no one saw coming. And if you think it was just another headline, think again. A decision so bold, so unexpected, it sent whispers through every capital and made certain powerful people sit up in sudden silence. In Niamey, in the middle of streets people thought were forgotten, a message was shouted so loud the echoes still haven't died. And if you're already thinking you've heard this story before, keep listening, because the real story is not what you think. For years, treaties were signed behind closed doors while the land gave up its riches and the people kept waiting for promises that never came. Independence existed on paper, but everyone knew the strings were still there, pulled from far away, smiling politely while taking everything that mattered. Decades passed. Uranium left in endless shipments. Gold disappeared on routes no one talked about. And the people watched, generation after generation, as their country carried someone else's wealth while their own lives barely changed. Everyone knew it, but who was brave enough to tear it down? Who would dare? Then came July 2023, the moment, the switch. And this time, the words were not soft, not careful. The new leaders didn't ask politely. They didn't even warn. They tore the script in half and said it in a way no one could misunderstand. Military accords gone. Troops out. The ambassador, pack and leave. It wasn't a negotiation. It was a sentence. And suddenly, the weight that had sat on the country's chest for decades began to lift. Can you imagine that feeling? Can you imagine the faces of those in distant offices who thought nothing would ever change? But here's the twist you might not have considered. That single act didn't stay inside one country's borders. It jumped. Phones lit up far beyond Niamey, and people in other nations started whispering to each other, "Did you see that? Did you see what they just did?" It wasn't just pride. It was recognition. A mirror held up to a whole region. A spark that made people remember they've been living under the same shadow too, quietly, silently, until now. If you think this was only about one country, you're wrong. It's bigger. Far bigger. And then comes the question that no one dares to ask too loudly. What happens next? Throwing someone out is the easy part. Building something new? That's the hard part. That's where everyone's watching, waiting, wondering. New deals are being signed, new allies tested, resources once taken for granted now guarded like treasure. Every move is a risk. Every choice makes someone nervous somewhere far away. And deep down, that uncomfortable thought lingers. What if this actually works? What if others follow? What happens to the old balance then? This isn't just history frozen in time. It's not over. It's still unfolding, shaping itself day by day while everyone pretends not to watch too closely. But you feel it, don't you? That shift, that vibration in the air? If you think this is just noise that will fade away, you might be in for a shock. Because this stand is more than a headline, more than a passing story. It's a wound being ripped open, a future being rewritten. And if you're still listening now, good, because the next chapter is coming fast. And you won't want to miss a single moment of it.
You have seen the report. That was the report. So, Niger in Africa is the leading producer of uranium. Uranium is a resource used in a nuclear power plant to produce that electricity you see. Uranium is a resource that is used in many other products. So uranium is a valuable raw material that the world is desperate looking for. So for France to survive, Niger was supplying more than 20% of France's uranium. It is the same uranium that is used to make nuclear weapons. Like the way you see these people are running after Iran. They are running out after Iran. So Niger is also cooperating with Iran, by the way. And Iran is also obtaining uranium from Niger. So Niger holds that power. Since France was kicked out through its major nuclear company, Orano, since that time, France has experienced shortage of electricity in some other parts of the country. So France is experiencing such kind of shortage because they didn't realize that when the coup or when the military governments took over, they made a decision to benefit their own masses. So, and here we are now. Niger is not only doing well, it is also thriving. Niger is not calling on France to be with it. The military regime in Niger, General Abdurrahman Chiani, made it very clear and said that the only peace that France wishes for us is to stay away from us. France has been in the country since colonialism and since independence, but the country has not even made even a single step towards development. Insecurity has worsened, everything is in worse. So it is the same people that are calling on, that are crying, begging, that they want to come back and cooperate with Niger on Niger's term. And Niger is saying, no, we are not going to cooperate with you. Because we cooperated with you at first, we were in friendship at first, and you didn't help us. Your military bases were here. The American military bases were here. Insecurity was worsening. Everything was worsening. Since we chased you away, at least the people of Niger are breathing. They are getting something at least. They are now farming. There is some good activities going on in Niger. Niger now is somehow safe. Though some parts are not safe as you know, like the other Sahel states. But Niger at least is registering some progress and is the leading economy in Africa today. But before, it was the poorest country in the world, even down than Burundi. So you see, what we call taking power in your own, taking an action is also a very good thing. The people of Niger got tired, and in July 2023, they had to take things on their own hands because the security was worsening. The army were poorly equipped. There were no strong army to defend the country from insecurity and this violence that was plaguing the country. Foreign interference was at war. The Nigerian people said that we are tired of this kind of nonsense. We have to do something for ourselves. That's when we saw the military government coming up, taking action. So Niger now is a country. Like, it's not like before. Before, Niger was actually at the verge of collapsing. Yeah. Like other Sahel states, Niger was also at a time whereby its army could not even defend it. The army were very, very poorly equipped, poorly trained, and they were not even in a position to stand even one terrorist organization. So that's why we see people taking things in their own hands, and indeed there is some developments in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Uranium was for France. Every kind of mineral that was in Niger was for France. Oil was for France, but now it benefits the masses. Now, every mineral in Niger is benefiting the masses. Another thing we saw, the American envoy that came to the Sahel, that guy was patrolling. Can I call it patrol? Okay, he went through all the 3 states saying one word. We are the best. We have the best military in the whole world. Yet you failed even to eliminate the Houthi. We are well trained. We can train your army very well. You even failed to defend Israel during the Iran missile barrages. So that is it. So if you're saying that you have the best military in the whole world, there must be a question mark. These people were in Niger before. They had the largest American air base was in Niger at Agadez. But jihadists were soon even taking over the capital, Niamey. So what were they doing? For you to say that you have the best equipment and you have the best military, you have to prove it. 2 days you sent Patriot missiles to Ukraine. They were all annihilated. They are no longer like Patriots in Ukraine. But in your media, you are booming it. You're showing that they are the best. What became the best, today they are ashes. So there is no more like that you have the best. You no longer have the best. Rather, you can also stand a threat and defend your country. But you can no longer fight an independent country today. So that was the American envoy that came to these AES states. So that was the message we had today. Do you think that it is a good idea for France to come back in Niger? Do you see it as like a benefit for the Nigerian government or for the Nigerian people? Or it's a continuation of exploitation of resources? So let me know your comments in the comment section. We shall come back and we meet tomorrow. Big up.